Welcome back to Timberwolves Today. I am Tyrus, your host of Timberwolves Today, if I couldn't say that enough. But make sure we're subscribed, make sure we like this video, and leave a comment. I like seeing what you guys leave. Some of you guys are pretty funny stuff that I get to read sometimes. Yeah, it's been a few days since we've done the show, and the Timberwolves have played 3 games since then. In the last episode, we previewed the Wizards game, in which we won by a whopping 11 points versus the Wizards, who are not a good team. A win is a win because we would then go on to slide the last 2 games now, both on the road at Phoenix and Sacramento. The Phoenix game is one of the worst games I've ever seen from the Timberwolves. I've watched them blow plenty of leads. It's happened plenty of times while I've cheered for this team. But the fact and how they did it was disgusting. It was disgusting work. We were up by 8 with a minute to go. Finch doesn't call a timeout once while the Suns are working their way back. No, instead he just lets them play it out, lets us turn the ball over a bit, and we lose. Yeah, we lose to a Colin Gillespie layup, and then we're left to try to get it in like 2 seconds, and that just doesn't happen very often. The big problem with that is how we lost. It was ugly. We made plenty of mistakes. The refs also made a huge mistake. Dillon Brooks at one point grabbed the ball and handed it to the ref after it went through the hoop. You're not allowed to do that. That is a technical. That is 2 free throws for us. And I don't think the bucket's even good. The bucket is good maybe. But still, he should have fouled out right then, gotten a technical. That would have been that. We would have had 2 shots, would have been up. But even worse than that, that's a missed call, happens, it's whatever. Even worse than that, Julius Randle then proceeds to go 1 for 2 from the line after being fouled by Dillon Brooks when he eventually did foul out. And then with the game on the line, Anthony Edwards goes 0 for 2 from the line. 0 for 2. He's Anthony Edwards, and he goes 0 for 2 from the line? Yuck. And then the Sacramento game last night. I'm going to read you an excerpt from my friend who watched the game because at this point I was disgusted with the team, and I was not staying up for that. So, in his words, Wolves led 99-89 with 2 minutes and 50 seconds left. Now it's 101-101 going into overtime with the Kings. What are we doing? That's a great question. I was wondering what we were doing too when I woke up and read this. This team is maddening. Finish a game, you cowards. We got a bunch of dummies on this team, 15 turnovers and boneheaded plays. How do you lose to the Kings? You swept them twice by a whopping 144-17, and then the next game 124-110. And this one you can't even put up more than 112 points versus the Kings? Anthony Edwards had another 40-point game. Julius Randle had a very mid-game. Dante DiVincenzo, mid-game. Jaden, awful game. Rudy, nice work being in double digits. Naz Reid, good game. 1 for 6 from 3 is diabolical. What are we doing here? The turnovers are a great point as well. 5 from Julius, 4 from Jaden, 2 from Rudy, 3 from Ant. Yuck. Figure it out. And I think a lot of it goes back to how Finch coaches his team. I've harped on Finch plenty. When we get into these late game situations, he has to slow them down. We're still a young team. A lot of our guys are still young and they're inexperienced. We can't play with the experienced vets who know how to speed up the pace and make us scramble. When we get sloppy with the ball, that's how we start to lose. That's how we lost both of those games, from my understanding. Obviously, I skipped the Kings game. I was not staying up. That was a 9 p.m. start time. 9 p.m. for us here in Minnesota. You expect us to stay up? Seriously, you expect us to stay up from a 9 p.m. game so that you can lose to the Kings, who you've already kicked their ass twice this season? Ugh. Gross. That's kind of what leads me to my next one here. Are the 2026 Timberwolves just choke artists? Are we just choke artists? Is that all we are this year? In every single one of our games, except for a handful, we have tried to blow the game either before the half or at the end of the fourth quarter. It's crazy. I'm going to have to go and look and see what kind of stats we're pulling at the end of these fourth quarters to see if we're really getting outscored that much. But it certainly feels like we are. If somebody knows more than me and wants to drop those stats in the comment for everyone, greatly appreciated. Greatly appreciated. Because we are wasting Anthony Edwards. Great season by him. He's averaging 26 points a game, and he missed a bunch of games. Randall's averaging 24, Jaden 17, Dante 13, Nas 13, Gobert 13. Our first 6 options are all in double-digit scoring. Scoring is not the problem. Not the problem. It falls back on defensive effort and coaching. These losses have been on Finch. You are not coaching the guys properly to finish these games. How, when we get into these late games, are Randall and Rudy turning the ball over like that? Those are the things you should be practicing. When we're up, secure the ball. That ball, do anything to make sure that ball's in your possession. Because that's exactly what happened in both of those games. Randall lost a couple sloppy turnovers, and next thing you know, we're losing the game. How do we fix that? Oh, I know how. Practice, coaching, figure it out. That's just so frustrating to me because this team is better than 10-6. Or what are we, 10-7? We're 10-7. And our next game is against OKC, which we're going to talk about at the end of this episode. But we don't have an easy schedule coming up. We're going to preview that schedule right now. OKC, Boston, San Antonio, New Orleans, LA, Phoenix, Memphis, Oklahoma are the next handful of games going into the middle of December, I guess. So, let's just talk next week. Next week we're going, jeepers. Yeah, we're going to play 5 games in the next week now. We're going to go San Antonio on Sunday. Well, let's talk next 10 days, how about? Wednesday, yeah, that's pretty much it. 10 days, we're going Oklahoma, Boston, San Antonio, New Orleans, LA Clippers, and then, yeah, that's it. So, I'm chalking the New Orleans ones up as wins. That should be back-to-back wins. There's no reason to lose to the team that's probably moving to Seattle. Boston, I'm going to put 50-50 because we've known that they're struggling. Clippers, I'm not sure if hopefully we beat the unction. Then, obviously, OKC is going to be a nightmare matchup for us. Not one I'm looking forward to, especially the day before Thanksgiving. They're probably going to dog walk us and then go stuff their faces the next day. But that's what we have to look forward to. Let's talk about Anthony Davis now. Is trading for Anthony Davis make any sense to the Timberwolves? We know we have a lot of high contracts. To get someone like Anthony Davis, that would mean 2 of those higher paid guys out the door. In some way, shape, or form, you can't have the contracts of Ant, Rudy, Jaden, Randall, and Nas all on the same team. They're all making $20 million or more. In the NBA's current situation, that's not achievable. You can maybe have 4. Most teams have 3, I think, those max deals. So, what would a couple trades look like for Anthony Davis? Now, this one, I did 2. I did one that was a 2-team trade, one that was a 3-team trade. We'll start with the 2-team trade. It would honestly look like a nice little refresh for us. Kinda. We would get Anthony Davis, Max Christie, D'Angelo Russell, and Dwight Powell. This puts us in a weird spot because Anthony Davis is making $54 million for the next year. So he's making $54 million this year, $58 the following year, and then he has a player option for $62 after that. So is he a long-term solution? No, but he's a great way to get him off the books, in my opinion. To get everyone else off the books. I lost my trade here. Hold on. All right, it's back. I don't think that's a good option for us. Anthony Davis doesn't fit well with our system, especially if we're going to trade Julius Randle and Rudy Gobert, which is what we'd be doing in this trade. I like Anthony Davis. I think he's very injury prone and all that stuff that gets said about him. I don't think it makes a lot of sense to trade for him. I don't like this trade. Trading 1-for-1 with another team doesn't make sense. But he is obviously making $54 million. No one's really going to be able to facilitate that on their own. So, a team that's been talked about as being probably one of the better fits for him has been the Pistons. So what would a Pistons and Mavericks and Timberwolves trade look like? Well, the Pistons would be taking on Anthony Davis and Dante DiVincenzo. Obviously, we'd begin shedding those guys. We're going to get back Isaiah Stewart, Jaden Ivey, Ausar Thompson, and Dwight Powell. The Mavericks are going to be taking Rudy Gobert, Ron Holland, Paul Reed, and Leonard Miller. I think this one makes a lot more sense because the Pistons have a lot of young guys who aren't able to play there. Obviously, I don't think they should blow up their entire roster to go get Anthony Davis, but if they really want to be in like a win now situation, that could certainly help them because they have plenty of guys who are going to fit around the mold of Cade and Tobias Harris and Jalen Duren. And all those guys, I think, would play really well with Anthony Davis. Dante gives them a great shooting option alongside like Duncan Robinson there. It's one more shooter for him. The Timberwolves, on the other hand, getting someone like Isaiah Stewart in, I would love. I would love having Isaiah Stewart. I think he's got the right kind of mentality that the rest of the team plays with. Jaden Ivey would be a great starting point guard option for us. Ausar Thompson, a flashy off the bench shooting guard. It also gives us, small forward, but it gives us the ability to maybe move some other pieces. Like if we wanted to move Jaden, I don't think we should, but we could. It also gives us the ability to move maybe Randall as he's aging out sooner than later. And then we get Dwight Powell. He's on a 1-year deal, $4 million. It's cool to have him as our backup center, I guess, because then you can run Nas at the 4 probably. And then the Mavericks would be in full rebuild mode here, but you're getting a quality center in Rudy Gobert from the Timberwolves, Ron Holland, who's a great young player. Paul Reed is a great backup center. They probably would just end up cutting him, to be honest. And then Leonard Miller, also probably getting cut. But I think that trade is the only way that trading for Anthony Davis would make sense for the Timberwolves. I think we would be a facilitator in that trade, moving our own pieces to help fit what we want to do. Just a thought. Let me know if you guys have any thoughts on being involved in any trades at the trade deadline. That's going to sneak up. That's probably going to get talked about in the future. Let's preview Wednesday's Thunder game, I guess. This is going to suck, in my opinion, and then we'll get you guys out of here. Enjoy your Wednesday before the game because that's probably when this is coming out. Yeah, let's see what ESPN's... Yeah, they're giving us a 17% chance to win. OKC has lost one game. They're undefeated at home. Going to take a miracle to win this one. I have no hopes for this. Oh, I'm so down on this game. Who's injured for them? I guess they're out. Jalen Williams, Aaron Wiggins, Kendrick Williams, Nikola Topic, and Thomas Sober. We don't have anyone injured, so that's great. I don't know. If we can win or at least compete. Oh, it's an NBA Cup game too. So we're going to go 2-2 in the NBA Cup and be out of that again because we couldn't beat the Suns the other day. This sucks. This little slide we're on. We got to turn it around here in this next little bit. Otherwise, we're going to be like a high 40 win team at best. That's the best I can do for a Thunder preview. Yuck. I don't think we're going to win. I just want to compete and at least give them a run for their money. But this could be a 20-point loss loading. I wouldn't be shocked if we lost by 20 to the Thunder, who are red hot. Especially NBA Cup. I think they're leading that now. I would think. I'm not 100% sure the NBA Cup's stupid. But no, that is the preview for that game. Enjoy the Wednesday game. Enjoy Thanksgiving. Make sure you subscribe, drop a like, drop a comment, all that good stuff. This was Timberwolves Today. See you on the next one.